What is going on, guys? Jason Burke here, Styles Clash for Life, coming at you on YouTube. And today I've got another edition of Tales from the Fort, where I review classic films and tell you guys how good or how bad they are. And I'm doing this all October long. I've got my 31 movies of October listed up on my Twitter account at jburke, Jaybyburke. Go check out the 31 movies that I'm watching this October. 22 of them are first time watches, and I'm going to try and review all 22 of those first time watches if I can, at least the ones that really stick out to me. And I'm reviewing a more recent one today. So I'm doing like 5 of these reviews in one day. So if you guys have not seen the reviews for Bad Moon or Teeth, go check those out on my channel. And today I'm bringing you guys one from 2014. I'm bringing you guys a darker, kind of a more serious one on this episode, and that is The Last Shift from 2014. That is a film that a lot of you guys might have seen the poster for on Netflix. It was on Netflix for quite a while. It was sitting in my queue, and it disappeared before I could actually go watch it. And then I found out that it was written and directed by Anthony DiBlasi. If you guys recognize that name, you'll know that he was mentioned on my channel once before. He did 2018's Extremity, the haunt horror that went on Shudder, and might still be on Shudder, and is a really good haunt horror movie surrounding a haunted house. One of the better recent haunt films, and I really enjoyed DiBlasi's work in that. So when I saw The Last Shift pop back up on Tubi, and I figured, oh, I've got a second chance to watch this. And then I saw it was by the guy that made Extremity, who I'm a big fan of. I wanted to go back and really watch this movie. When I posted I was going to watch it, I got a bunch of positive feedback saying it was really underrated and really good. So that made me excited to watch and review it. And I gotta say, they were right. This film, The Last Shift from 2014, was directed by Anthony DiBlasi and written by DiBlasi and Scott Poyle, and starring Juliana Harkavy. Hope I'm saying that name right, as Jess Lauren. Juliana Harkavy, you guys might recognize. She was Dinah from Arrow. She was also in The Walking Dead. She's been in a couple other horror films. She's a really talented actress. I saw her face right away, and I couldn't picture where I recognized her from. I was a fan of her on both Walking Dead and Arrow, and she was in a few other things as well. But The Last Shift is about an hour and 30 minutes, a standard 90-minute movie about a cop, a daughter who takes after her father's footsteps and joining the police force. And on her first night as a cop, she is taking the last shift at a police office that is about to be transferred to a new office. So they're closing down their old precinct and moving down the street to a new office. So she is taking the very last shift at the old office while she waits for a chemical department to come in and get rid of all their evidence and dispose of it. So she has to wait there overnight and just take the last shift at this old police headquarters. And a bunch of stuff starts happening as a haunting story takes place. Man, this movie has a lot going for it. First things first, the backstory. There might be some spoilers in this, so if you guys haven't seen Last Shift, it's hard not to really spoil anything right off the bat. The story essentially, I'll get to some environmental stuff first, because this whole thing takes place in one closed location overnight. So right away, you know the environment, you know the outside, you know the inside is going to be a really tight, closed space, which is going to build tension. This is one of the best tension building films that I've seen in a long time. I really enjoyed DiBlasi's work in this once again. He knocked it out of the park. This whole thing takes place in a small police precinct, and Jess Lauren, Juliana's character, is the only cop in there. She's by herself overnight. So just imagine yourself working overnight in any job when you're the only one there. It's a desolate area, it's locked in, it's a small place, and you're the only person working overnight shift. It's nerve-wracking for anybody, especially a first-time cop, doing her first shift at the last shift of this old precinct. So right away, you've got tension, you've got nerves, you're wondering what's going to happen. Then all this haunting stuff starts happening. She starts getting phone calls from this girl who says she's being chased and trapped by killers. She's going to be killed. She doesn't know what to do. Meanwhile, the police captain told her all the 911 calls are being forwarded to the new address. So all of a sudden she's getting calls when she shouldn't be getting these haunting calls. So she doesn't know what to do. Again, she's inexperienced. She's getting calls where she shouldn't. And some guy shows up, sneaks in the precinct, and starts peeing on the floor. So you've got this hairy, dirty, kind of drugged out looking guy who's walking around. You don't know why he's there, what he's doing. He seems out of his mind. Now you feel for this woman who's stuck in this place overnight. She can't leave because she has to prove of herself being a cop. And she also, she wants to do her father proud, who died in the line of duty. And she also wants to prove to the force she can make it. And she has to wait for these important guys to come and take all this evidence and materials and dispose of it. So she can't leave. She's proving to herself she can make it. And now she's stuck in this spot overnight where all this crazy stuff starts happening. And it gets crazier and crazier as time goes on. She winds up with so basically, to get into the backstory, basically, if you guys haven't seen it, a bit of a spoiler here. We get into this story where her father and a couple other cops arrested this cult leader and a bunch of his followers that were murdering people, a bunch of girls nearby the police station. So her father and a couple other cops arrested these cult guys, and the report that comes out is that the cops killed the cult guys. But what actually happened is the cult killed themselves. They hung themselves in this precinct, the one that the main character is staying in now, and they killed the father as well. So again, she's doing this for the memory of her father. She's taking up in her father's footsteps. But also this cult that her father arrested to kill her father also now killed themselves and are haunting this jail. So you've got this fun house of jump scares that starts happening as time goes on. You've got so many terrifying jump scares. You've got a passerby that comes in to smoke a cigarette who tells the story about the cult and the cult leader being charismatic and dangerous. She starts seeing video of the cult being interviewed by the police and all the tapes and stuff. So she starts coming face to face with the cult guys. She starts seeing a bunch of the cult leaders in like their circles chanting and singing their creepy song over and over again that gets stuck in your head. She starts seeing pictures of her and her father. She starts seeing her father's pictures of when he was shot. She starts seeing other cops come in. You don't know what's happening. The whole thing is a mind bender where she's seeing things and you don't know what's real and what's not. It's meant to disorient you in that way where everything that's happening is being done by ghosts in this precinct, so you don't know, are some of these things real? Is she seeing things because she's going crazy? Is she reliving her father's situation? Is this stuff really happening? There's a call on the phone that talks about how they switched precincts because the old one was haunted by the cult. So, how much of this stuff is real and how much of this stuff's in her imagination, what's happening and what's not. The whole 90 minutes, you're being surrounded by these things. The one negative note that I would say, for more positives, the acting by Jess Lauren and really the whole ensemble was excellent. Jess Lauren stands out. Juliana Harkavy stands out excellently in this. I love her in this movie. The one negative is that after a while, there's so many jump scares and so many things keep happening over and over again that you're kind of like, okay, we kind of got the picture now. We have the backstory. We've gotten a ton of good jump scares with good sound design. Now let's move on to the final act and let's see how this thing is going to end. Because they just do so much of it that it kind of becomes repetitive to an extent. That is the one knock that I'll give on this. Because the pacing kind of gets like, you get good exposition in the beginning, part of the middle gives you good backstory, the jump scares and stuff are really good, and then that like 2.5 to third act kind of drags on a little bit too long. But in terms of gore, in terms of creep factor, detention, jump scares, pacing out the jump scares, different things happening, it's a constantly moving, frenetic pace, well done, good sound design, good gore, good acting, and overall I'm a really big fan. Now for the ending, here's a spoiler, so pause if you guys haven't seen it. The ending is Jess Lauren's character, Jess Lauren, she shoots the cult that seems to be breaking in. There's still cult members that are still alive, and that she's being told by her father on the phone, so she's hearing her father's voice. Thinking the cult is breaking in, she starts to shoot them and survive and save her life. But the people she's shooting is actually the chemical people that are coming in to help with the police disposing of evidence. So she shoots them, and the officer comes back, the chief officer that hired her, comes back and shoots her because he sees her shooting innocent people. So she starts to die and bleed out, and she sees the cult members surrounding her, getting ready to sing the song and take her with them. So, again, an absolute psychological thriller that is rife with tension, paced frenetically, really well done, and gives you kind of a haunting ending at the end. She survives, you think, but then she gets shot by her own guy because she's shooting the wrong people. She's seeing all these things in her mind, and she's so whacked out by all of these scares that she's no longer doing the right thing, and she starts to die and almost kind of join the cult at the end. So a haunting ending for a haunting movie, and I really enjoyed this dark psychological thriller all the way through. I'm going to give this film a 7.5 out of 10. It is one of the more underrated gems you'll find, especially in 2014. Anthony DiBlasi, much like Extremity, I love this movie. Hats off to you. That is two absolute bangers you put out. And I'm going to review another Anthony DiBlasi film next. So again, if you guys have not seen my reviews for Bad Moon or Teeth, go watch those. I'm reviewing another Anthony DiBlasi film coming up next, so check that one out as well. What did you think of this film? Tell me in the comments below. And what else should I review this October? Keep talking to me and keep staying scared. Enjoy your October, guys.